How many times have you heard a friend or a classmate or a family member say that I tried to learn Spanish, but it was just too hard, so I quit? Maybe you have said this yourself. I've heard this many times as well. I have read many stories that are very similar online. After a lot of thinking, I have noticed that there are three main reasons why many people fail at learning Spanish. And they are lack of discipline, insecurities and fear, and perspective on progress. At the beginning of my Spanish learning journey, outside of my formal Spanish classes in school, I lacked a lot of discipline. And for me, discipline when it comes to language learning means learning consistently. So learning every single day and not having many breaks, which is what I had. I always gave myself excuses for not learning Spanish one day. So just some days I just wasn't really feeling it, so I just didn't study, didn't learn anything at all. And you know how that goes. One day off from learning Spanish turns into a few days off, and then a few days off turns into a few months. Since learning the Spanish language is a very long process and it's quite complex, discipline is a necessity. We have to be very disciplined when we want to learn Spanish. If you don't develop a habit of discipline, then you could develop a habit of laziness. Just studying whenever you want to or just listening to a podcast in Spanish once a month won't really cut it and you won't see much progress. And that is exactly what happened to me. As well, I think when many people realize just how much discipline is necessary to learn Spanish, that can really put them off, that can make them think that, oh, this is just way too difficult, it's too challenging, and just too much effort. I don't even want to learn Spanish anymore. Insecurities and fear. These two things have a huge impact on how many people learn the Spanish language, and way more than I ever would have imagined. Spanish learners tend to have fear and insecurities about getting made fun of by native Spanish speakers, not being able to fit in with native Spanish speakers, not being Latino, being perceived as dumb because you make many pronunciation and grammar mistakes when you are speaking Spanish, not being understood when speaking Spanish, starting conversations in Spanish, forgetting words when you are writing in Spanish or when you are speaking Spanish. Those are just a few of them, and I'm sure there are many more that are popping into your head right now. Once these insecurities and fears consume the thoughts and emotions of people, that's when they tend to quit. Because having insecurities and fear is extremely uncomfortable, and us humans love to be comfortable. So if someone quits learning Spanish, they are escaping all that uncomfortableness, all those uncomfortable feelings and thoughts. Then they can relax more because they don't have to worry about learning Spanish and having to deal with all that stuff. Perspective on progress. Many people fail at learning Spanish because making progress in the Spanish language to them means being perfect. They may beat themselves up if they make a grammar mistake when they are writing in Spanish and it is so confusing to them. Or they make a pronunciation mistake when they are speaking Spanish, or they're not able to comprehend everything that they are hearing native Spanish speakers say. And when these things keep on happening over again, so making mistakes over and over again, then also having to say, ¿Qué dijiste? ¿Qué significa eso? Because they don't understand what a native Spanish speaker said, they may get really frustrated. They think they aren't making a lot of progress in Spanish. And since they are not making a lot of progress in Spanish, that means that, okay, I guess I can't really learn Spanish because I suck at it, or I'm not smart enough to learn Spanish, so then they quit. Why continue to learn Spanish and dedicate so many hours to learning Spanish for me to not really get anywhere and to have no progress? It makes a lot more sense to just quit learning Spanish. Although I believe lack of discipline, insecurities and fear, and perspective on progress is what causes many people to fail at learning Spanish, all hope is not lost. And if you have quit learning Spanish because of one of these three reasons, I'm here to tell you that you are not a failure at all. This is actually a really good learning moment for you as a Spanish learner, because now you know exactly what you really struggle with. You could have been struggling with one of these reasons, or you could have been struggling with all three of these reasons. Learning Spanish is very challenging to do, but guess what? There's always another opportunity to learn Spanish. So if you have quit learning Spanish in the past, guess what? Today is a new day. You can start learning again. And it does not matter at all that you did quit learning Spanish at one point in your life. This new attempt to learn the Spanish language is going to be the final one because we are never going to stop learning Spanish. I hope that you really enjoyed this video and you feel more motivated to learn the Spanish language. Let me know in the comment section below if you have quit learning Spanish in the past, and if you did, why? Now watch this next video if you need more motivation for learning Spanish. Hasta pronto.